Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the Hot Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and I would like to welcome all of you back to episode 3 of season 2 of the Hot Zone, episode 4, season 2 of the Hot Zone. And so far, we hope that you've been having a pleasant week, and we have a lot in store tonight on this episode. We will be having some very interesting conversation, including the president visit to the United States, attending the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. But before I do that, let me bring you some of the happenings in the current event, beginning with the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. I hope you've been actually enjoying, and I hope your team made it to the final. As you know, the World Cup is still on the way, and France and Argentina made it to the finals of the FIFA World Cup, and the Lions of Morocco did extremely well, but their competition ended today. The competition ended in a defeat against France, and so they will be playing the runner-up with Croatia. And the final is scheduled to be played on Sunday between France and Argentina. We hope whoever you support take the day. But that's it for the current events in the diaspora. And for Liberia, we have our current event topic. The women's TV's Liberia reported a breaking news. Unfortunately, a 14-year-old identified as injured Nangbe of the ninth grade class of Rick's Institute in Virginia lost her life days ago while on a field trip in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. And Rick's Institute released a statement, and that statement was published by let me put up the Smart News, and I would like to read it just for clarity. Rick's Institute announces the sudden death of a student, Angel Nangbe, and the statement reads: Liberia, the president of the Liberia Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention, the chairman and board of trustees, the administration of Rick's Institute regret to announce the sudden death of Ms. Wilvet Angel Nagbe, a student of Rick's Institute. The president of the Baptist Convention, the board of trustees, and the administration of Rick's deeply regrets her death and extend profound condolence to the family, and they also stress that it is very important to have the public informed that our internal investigation revealed that student Nangbe was sick at home prior to going on the field trip in Buchanan, Kwembasa County. This information was unknown to the school administration prior to our departure. For more information on that story, you can go on the Smart News website and get more information on that story. And also in other news, there's an article that carries the title "We Will Not Surrender Our Right," and that was written by Isaac W. Jackson Jr. And I will just read the first paragraph. The military is not above the law. The Constitution of Liberia guarantees us freedom of assembly. I mean, therefore, if you get drunk on Weah's instruction or harm or massacre peaceful protesters, you and all others involved will be held criminally liable. Criminally liable. And but that's it for the current event news in Liberia and that of the diaspora. At this point, I would like to encourage all of you watching us to share the program on your respective Facebook or social media pages, and engage the program in the comment section. So I'll have my panelists back on the screen to welcome them to another episode of the Horizon. Welcome back, guys. And for tonight, our discussion, we will have three interesting discussion. We will be talking about the president being in attendance of the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit, and we will also talk about United Party political leader, former Vice President Joseph Newman Boycott flying private jet, and lastly, we will talk about division in the opposition community as the Liberian People Party announced a rally scheduled for December 14th and a 3-day rally. So we will talk about that and many more when we come back from this break.
At Fatu's, we know what it's like to feel a little homesick. That's why we work hard to bring you the very best and freshest imported foods and supplies from home. With quality design African cloths, beauty supplies, and tasty African food items, you'll feel right at home. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Fatu's African International Market for all of your household and family needs. See you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Liberia Radio and Television Network presenting another episode of The Horizon. My name is Derek Yale, and let me have my panelists back on the screen so we can have a very interesting conversation. Beginning with you, again, my man, the Lord Mayor of Bentor, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. How you doing, brother? And welcome to another episode.
Thank you very much, Brother Derek. Thank you for having me on the High Zoom. I look forward to engaging fruitful discussion. To my fellow panelists, the Bishop, Winking Weah, my brother Sylvester in Liberia. I know you go through a lot to be able to get to come on the show in Miami, but I'm glad to see you. I'm hoping that we can have an engaging, fruitful discussion today. Good to see you all. Thank you for having me, Brother Derek.
Thank you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. And of course, it's always a pleasure to have you on this panel and also doing the show with you. And let's move to you, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. Welcome to another episode of The Horizon.
Thank you so much. And good evening to all. Good evening to our many listeners. Good evening to my fellow panelists. And thanks today for the opportunity. This is a new episode, and I am happy to be on the High Zone to be able to make my contributions towards the show. And thanks to the management of this a unique platform for giving every Liberian the opportunity to express themselves and discuss key national issues. Thank you again. I'm here to give my best of what I know and what I understand about Liberian situations in the country and the world at large. So I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. And let me come to you, Bishop Haggard. Welcome to another episode of The Horizon.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very privileged to be on the Horizon tonight. I hope to have a very wonderful discussion tonight with the rest of my fellow Liberians, patriotic Liberians. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Haggard and Mr. Winking Weah. Welcome to another episode. You're muted. Go ahead.
Am I muted?
No, you go.
Oh, okay. Thank you, fellow panelists. I'm happy to be in your company tonight. It is an opportunity for us to discuss Liberia. There is a place we can all come together to talk about Liberia, and there is a place that provides the opportunity that to reach people that we cannot talk to face to face. So it's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. And guys, those of you watching us, it's always a pleasure to be here with you, and we appreciate your support, and we appreciate you continually engaging the program. And you can continue doing that by sharing the program on your social media pages and have us out there so that someone may be able to benefit from this program. But without much left to say, let's get right into our discussion. We will talk about the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. As you guys know, is ongoing, and most media institution has been talking about this summit, but under the umbrella of dissecting the president's speech. I want for us to take a different path tonight to talk about the summit, the overall summit. I did a research and I learned that the last time this summit was held, I think, was under the administration of President Obama. So I want for us to start this conversation to talk about the benefit of this summit and what we know about it. So let me start with you, Mr. Winking Weah. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but talk to us about the summit overall.
Well, actually, the summit is about the United States helping Africa about adaptation. They talk about they pledge billions of dollars every year to African countries. Um, so my understanding is that African leaders themselves have to identify uh, the utilization of these resources. The United States government, I think this year they provided already 150 billion of that amount, according to Joe Biden in his speech. And we as Africans, what I can say about the summit, we can come to America, we can go to the West, we can go to any other part of the world. The summit is, I hope we learn from it that only African can really make Africa better, not just coming to the summit in America or meeting any other leaders. I think the problem we have in Africa, in spite of all the money that we are receiving from the rest of the world, the utilization of these resources that we are mobilizing, Africa has all the resources that every country needs in the world. All we need in Africa is the knowledge and skills, and that is a vacuum that we lack in Africa. If our leaders can utilize our people by training Africans, then we can be like any of the Western world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winkin Weah. And it is important to note that the summit, President Weah is the first Liberia president to attend. The last time the summit was held, it was the vice president that actually attended that. That's just for educational purpose. But let's come to you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Give us your take on your U.S. Africa Leaders Summit.
Thank you, brother Derek. You are right. The last time the summit was held was actually in 2014, during the last term of Obama in office. So President Trump didn't even attempt to even say I started no Africa Liberia Summit. But basically, the summit, this time around, they invited 49 countries or 49 head of states and all their respective representatives, all of the 54 countries. And I want to believe the other countries that were left out, America has a reason for doing that. Probably a country that has some kind of a terrorist tie or countries that America consider to be a rogue state. Well, basically, what the conference is meant to do was that is actually is meant to strengthen the partnership that America has with African countries, at the same time advance shared priorities. And this year, the focus is on good governance, global health, and what else? Climate change, and just some things that the Biden administration deemed necessary to talk about in ways that I think they can help African countries at the same time advance American foreign policy. So this is not a place where respected countries can go and ask for help, except you have a lobbyist in Washington that the president or whoever in key position in the administration can meet you on the sideline. You can discuss or engage in bilateral cooperation. So it's just a discussion forum. And it's necessary that whatever African country is represented over there, you want to make sure that you maximize whatever participation you're going or whatever engagement you're going to be having with your American partners. And most often, countries that have good governance will take their health minister, their youth and sport minister, and all of those respected stakeholders that will be participating in these different breakout sections, because it's a 3-day event. It ends on Friday. So any good government in Africa will say, you know what, I will take this opportunity to do presentation. So my health minister will go and talk about what we're doing to combat so and so in my country. The youth and sport minister in my country, or whosoever is responsible for youth governance in that country, will go and talk about youth employment. So I'm hoping that's the case with the Liberian government. But given the track record of this government, and this is not an attempt to criticize them.
Mr. Bobby Mitchell Crawford, we will get. I just want us to get an overview on that. I don't want.
Yeah, so that was just a quick overview. Gathering of 49 countries that were invited. Blah blah blah, to discuss partnership and advance good governance.
Yes, and thank you, Bobby. And just to add to what you're saying, it's a 3-day event. Reading from the U.S. State Department website on the summit recap, the first day actually kicked off with a focus on the vital role of civil society and the strength of our African diaspora communities in the United States. And just like you alluded to, or actually you stated, that this summit feature a range of sessions on topics from trade and investment to health and climate to peace, security, and governance to space cooperation and so many other things. But let's come to you, and thank you, Bobby, for mentioning that to our audience. And Bishop Hager, let's come to you on the summit. Give us your take on it.
It is a good talking shop where people come and discuss ideas. I believe that America, recognizing that it was losing influence over Africa with the influx of Chinese influence and the French, decided that it was necessary strategically to start to be proactive in reinforcing the American values among the African nations. So they started this Africa, U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. And they bring about political leaders and civil society leaders, the development partners in Africa. And I'm hoping that these recommendations and these proposals will be translated into tangible projects that will benefit the ordinary citizen. Because from the inception, Liberia have always been part of different summits. We were part of the non-aligned. We went and joined all kinds of groups, and the good recommendations were made to our political establishment. But when they got home, those things were just a place of entertainment with no tangible impact on the lives of our people. So I believe that people that don't have vision want to use this summit as a photo bombing experience to show to their constituents that they have influences in the political establishment in America. Listen to me. I was there in 2014. I have pictures. I went there when the summit. It just talking shop. Good ideas. Don't misquote me. There are a lot of good people with good ideas, brilliant ideas come up, but Africa has brilliant ideas. It's just the political will to implement some of these things. So look today in Africa, since 2014, all the democracy in Africa are turning to military coup. Where are we going as Africa? So we'll watch and see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Haggard. And let's come to you, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. Give us your take on the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit.
Thank you. The summit is good, right? It's a good thing that African leaders who have passions and I want to have a good working relationship with the United States honor this identical summit to be able to discuss issues. But then that is not a major achievement for any serious government. Because like you look on the Boakai, you see that our president is the first Liberian president to attend the summit. That tells you that our relationship with the United States does not work in line with summit. And when we talk about African country that have a strong tie with the United States, no country in Africa has a strong tie with the United States compared to America. That's why all of the time the summit was held, our presidents have not are using that summit as a means to reconnect with the United States, because all United States need from Liberia government is for you to put yourself in order to provide good governance. Good governance is the major issues, is the major achievement of every government that the United States want to see, because the component of good governance and have something to do with every other aspect, the rule of law, they respect every law on the book. So everything includes in good governance. So once you are a responsible government and you apply good governance, you don't need to go to the African Summit. That's why the 2014, my political leader, Ambassador Joseph Boakai, and at the time he was the vice president of this country, he attended. The president gave him the opportunity to go and attend the conference. And that conference was a biggest achievement for Liberia to connect Her Excellency's leadership to that of Liberia. Ellen herself was to attend that conference, but because she knew that Liberia already has a connection with the US, and she was invited more than 7 times to the White House to discuss key issues. But that identical summit is just a 3-day summit, and issues people make political speeches and just get reconnect with all of their international partners. That's it. And Liberia, the reason why I'm coming different in these issues, because our country is not a country to be fighting for a relationship with America. We have already having a relationship with America. No African country has such a privilege that we have with the United States. So that summit is now a very important achievement for us as a Liberian, because we have every means to channel our issues and our problem to the United States. Every platform will be given, but our president have never been given such a platform because he have not yet demonstrated good governance.
Thank you, Honorable Sylvester Wamblu. And just to thank you guys for your contribution. Just to narrow it down, the summit and Liberia's representation there. On the first day, that featured a range of sessions on topics from trade, investment, health, climate change. Our president spoke about the youth in the diaspora, and he calls on the diaspora and young Africans to strive for excellence. Now, I want to tailor my question on how this summit can benefit Liberia and whether we have the right representation in Washington that will reap the benefit we need as a country. But before I ask my question, though, let me draw your attention to what I'm looking at on the State Department website. On the African Leaders Summit, there are a lot of different articles here, and they have a Mozambican president, UC, meeting with Blinkens. They have Egyptian president, Ghanaian president, and they have Angola president. If you read each of these articles, there is talking about some agreement that these people are, that these presidents or these high officials are meeting with the Secretary General and they're discussing. For example, I think Ghana, one of the articles I read, Ghana was talking about U.S. or one of the territory where actually the Russians military there, and they were seeing how the United States can intervene. Now, my question to Iran: why aren't we seeing Liberian having these side meetings on at the summit? So let me give that opportunity to you guys to take a stab at it. Do we have the right representation in Washington D.C., and why aren't we having those meetings right now? Let me start with you, or Bishop Hager.
Well, I will hope that with the days remaining, I don't know how the itinerary of the Department of State is. These things are discussed, they are put in place ahead of time. Maybe you could see a meeting tomorrow or Friday. So I just don't know. So, but it will be very, very disingenuous that we will not meet with some of the high-profile American government officials. Because Liberia, among other countries in Africa, we know that we are, in terms of the Human Development Index, we are so low. Our people are dying from communicable diseases. The people are living on less than $1 a day. We have a huge, very astronomically high unemployment rate in Liberia among the young people. So if we have to harness any resource, I think we should have experts at this summit and people that understand the working of the American government to link up with the right kind of resources that can pay dividends to our development agenda. If you ask me personally, I really do not think that we have the kind of representation, but I'm waiting to see at the end of the summit what will be the result. Yeah.
Thank you, Bishop Hagan. Let me come to you, Mr. Ja Winkin Weah. Do you think we have the right representation to reap the benefit we need from the U.S. summit, the U.S. African Leaders Summit?
Well, I don't know. It's not a question of really representation. It's the question of after the fact, what happened, the information you gather or whatever material you gather, how are they utilized? And from time immemorial, it hasn't been the question of lack of information on the part of our government in Liberia specifically, which is the first, which is the first independent country in Africa, by the way. I think the problem is our refusal to accept the fact that good governance is good. Everybody who gets in power or who in charge of the resources, they think they do it in their own way. We are double standards one way or the other, because if we talk about good governance one way or the other, they will say this is an independent country. If we talk about something, then they say, okay, oh well, if you, for example, if you talk about the pay, for example, the pay of our government officials, the salaries, so when we're discussing that, they say, well, we're an independent country. Then when it comes to development, then they will say, okay, we are third world nation. So the problem in Africa, really, Liberia specifically, is it's not a question of we don't lack the information or we don't lack the correct representation at conferences internationally. What we
I think we lost you, or Mr. Ja Winkin. But I will come to you now, or probably Mitchell Crawford. Do we have the right representation in Washington for us to reap the right benefit out of Washington D.C.?
No, we what we have in Washington for this summit are what we refer to in movie. I'm not a movie director. We call it extras. People that they just use, as background, whatever, to make the movie look good. That's what we have in Washington. But before I answer your question, real quickly, I wanted to just address a few things that Brother Honorable Sylvester alluded to earlier. You said Liberia shouldn't fight for relation with America. But here's the thing, though. Even Israel, who is one of America's closest ally, right? They do have lobbyists in Washington, D.C. There's a reason for that. Because America has what we call a moving democracy. Today you will have Republicans that will have different governing agenda, and then you have the Democrat that will have different priorities. For example, the Democrat will want a Palestine state living side by side with Israel, and the Republicans say no, they should obliterate the Palestine. So they are competing priorities. So even though America shared that special relationship with Israel, it is important for Israel to have representation in Washington that can talk on their behalf. I just wanted to give that ratification. Now, with Liberia having the right representation at this summit, I don't think that's the question we should be asking, because the summit itself is an invitation, and America is the one who is the major player, and she chooses who she wants to speak to. Earlier, you talk about engaging with the Egyptians. You know why they did that? Because they want to confront their geopolitical enemy in Iran that is becoming a beast in the Middle East. They want for Egypt and Israel to have that good working relationship. You talk about Ghana. Ghana is an emerging economy, one of the strongest democracies in West Africa. I'm surprised Rwanda is now on that list. So the State Department handpicked these countries to be able to engage them so that all the participating countries can see and say, you know what? We engage in these people because we want them to serve as an example of how we want to foster good governance, or how we want to see that global health is accessible to the citizen. This is the reason why we're talking to them in the first place. So it's like poking their eyes, poking their hand in the eyes of all the different African leaders that are converged at that summit. So Liberia not having a representation only exacerbated their problem, because you have a president over there. The composition of the delegation don't even have the right amount of people or is not representative of people that are supposed to be engaging with their respective partners at those different break or sections. So it's a problem in itself. And let me just add this before you cut me off. I feel kind of this is kind of scripted today. Not post the energy in here. Everybody just kind of
we will get to the anything part. We will get to the anything part.
Let's do that.
This is the part where we educate people on the summit. Oh, that's why we're not.
Yeah, but when you educate, we can't be like,
all right. Let me. I agree. I totally agree with you. We got to up our energy. But let me come to you, Sylvester. 30 seconds. We ran out of time for this segment, so I'll give you 30 seconds to respond to the question: do we have the right representation in Washington D.C. to reap the benefit we need to order the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit?
Thank you. And it baffles me when you talk about rightful representative. And Liberia don't have the rightful representative. The president dedication intent is only to show that George Weah, our president, for 5 years, he say, I can't go to America. Let me in America. So the preparedness of the president to that identical summit is only for a showcase. It's not for a political speech. The only reason why he was the first president to enter the U.S. is because Liberia had the saying that since indeed the president came to power, he have not yet visited Washington. The U.S. government have not given him an official invitation. He's the first president in our country history to serve as president for 5 years without not going to the White House to make the case for Liberia, to have a one-on-one discussion. So it's only about Eddie say I cannot go to America. Let me in America today. Eddie say where how can invite me? Yeah, my out today. I'm here. So it's only he has no preparedness for what he intends to achieve, but just a photo shoot. Trust me. Beginning tomorrow, you'll see a lot of photo shoot.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. And just to close out on this topic, the U.S. summit, like all of our panelists have already said, features leaders from across Africa that talk on a lot of different things. And one of the benefits of the summit, and I'm about to share with you an article, the U.S. State Department, I'm sorry, let me get my thoughts together. The U.S. State Department actually tweeted about this initiative that came out of the U.S. summit, and that is Prosper Africa U.S. And it's a U.S. government initiative that supports two-way trade and investment between the U.S. and Africa by connecting buyers, suppliers, and investors. And there's a beautiful story, and I hope to share the article with the audience about a company called Global Mammoth, and they have a series of handmade crafts that plummeted during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the loss of revenue the loss of revenue caused the Ghana-based company employees and harmed the craftswomen the company works with across Africa. But when they got the support from the U.S. government initiated Prosper Africa, Global Mama raised $2 million in private funding. So my point I'm trying to make with this article, if we have the right representation and the right meetings are held, we can actually benefit from those market women in Liberia, those aspiring entrepreneurs that actually want to develop businesses and stuff like that. These are opportunities from which they can benefit. But that's it for this discussion. And if you're watching us, continue to share the program and continue to encourage others to follow the network. And that is the Lrtn network on Facebook and the Liberia Radio and Television Network on YouTube. But for now, we will take a very brief break. And when we come back, we will continue our discussion on the opposition leader, the Unity Party political leader, Joseph Yuma Boakai, flying private jet. But for now, let's take a brief break.
Hi, my name is Theophilus Judicon Nelson I. I am the founder and CEO of Lrtn Africa LLC. Lrtn Africa started as an employment agency that has sought the employment of immigrants coming to the U.S. and finding ways and means to be able to start life in this great your country. Now we have added airport pickups and drop, car rental, hall rental. As you see, we have a new business location. Started with just a little office part, but today we have a whole complex that we can do a lot of stuff with.
Hello everyone, my name is Geneva Krantz. I'm the Executive Administrator of Uplift Africa. We have an excellent employment rate at our company. We work with and for you regardless of your situation. If you've ever been in prison, maybe your background isn't great, do not worry. We have a place for you here. We believe in equal opportunity for everyone, especially you. So sign up today and begin earning.
My name is Emmanuel B. Horton, Operational Director for Live Africa. Live Africa is the place to be.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching us from. My name is Derek Yale, and you are still watching another episode of The Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And let me have my panelists back on the screen. We just finished off a conversation on the the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit, and now we're about to get right into talking about topics that have been making rounds on social media, and that is of the former president, the former vice president, current political leader of the Unity Party, Joseph Yimam Boakai. There are pictures of him flying private jet with the likes of Benedict Ure and others, and that has been a talking point for people within the opposition community as well as those that support the ruling establishment. Now we're gonna talk about it from two angles. One, the practice what you preach angle, because we know the opposition community has constantly criticized the current president for flying private jets. So people are actually accusing the former vice president of not practicing what he preached. And also we'll talk about the optics. What does that say about the leadership of the former vice president? If he becomes president, will he also fly a private jet like he's doing right now? And other argues that he's a private citizen, so he can do whatever he want to do. So let's have our panelists take a stab at this discussion. But before we do that, let me encourage you all to continue to share the program and leave us your thoughts in the comments and in the comment section. And also, if you have any questions for any one of us on the panel, we will be more than happy to respond to it. But let me start with you, Mr. Ja Winkin Weah.
Well, it was unfortunate that I didn't end my statement in the last session. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, but for the vice president to go on private jet as a private citizen, I don't think. I personally did not see any problem if he made a contact because, in my opinion, he's not using the Liberian people resources. He's trying to contest for the presidency of Liberia. So I think he has a right because he's not a rich man, and as far as I'm concerned, even though he has been in power, probably he has friends. He's going to lobby for resources, I guess, for the elections. The only thing I see with it is that usually when they say there is no free lunch, whoever provides the plane, the jet in question will have interest in case he becomes president. Nobody knows what the person will be needing from him. So that's the question. That's why it is very important to hold all our leaders, or will be leaders, accountable.
Thank you very much. But let me stay with you. Let me ask you one of the questions that have been coming out from the discussion, Mr. Weah. Or what would you say to those people that say, given the fact that he's a former vice president, he should be able to at least explain that endeavors of flying private jet? Because the average Liberian and can I afford flying private jet? It feels like it needed to provide some type of explanation of flying for flying private jets instead of just saying I'm a private citizen now. What do you say to people that raise the argument? Are you still there, Mr. Weah? All right. I think we lost him. I'll come to you, Bishop Hager. Former Vice President Jose Yuman Boakai flying private jet.
Well,
What's your take on that?
the country as a whole does not have a plane. The last plane we had was so, but from my understanding, by Emmanuel Shaw, who was now advisor to President Weah, when he was advisor to do as well as the finance minister, he was the former finance minister and comment minister as well. So the problem is, as I said earlier in my statement,
Mr. Weah, I think we lost you for a while, so I don't know if you were talking. So if you want me to ask the question again so you can respond to it.
yes.
Yes, I was asking you to respond to those that argue that the former vice president should at least provide an explanation for flying private jet, given that the average Liberian cannot afford flying private jet. What would you
What,
say to people that raise the
but
argument?
why it is true that I'm not a supporter of Boakai, but I think Boakai is still a private citizen, even though he's one of the contenders. But what is also true is that because right now there is no free lunch. Whoever is inviting him, when Boakai becomes president, who knows what they will be asking for. But so long he's not using, right now he's not using the resources of the country as a private citizen who was contending for the presidency of Liberia as a former vice president. I know he has some friends. But for those who say he goes on a private jet, they should be accountable. Right now, the Liberian people, they should first hold our current president accountable. Boakai is not a leader right now. We can hold him accountable as well. But he has a right to fly. He has a right to accept the invitation. But he has a right to also explain to the Liberian people why and how it will benefit Liberians for the trip if he were to become the president of Liberia.
Thank you. Let me come to you, Bishop Hager. Give us your take on the former vice president flying private jet. You're muted. Go ahead.
The CDC surrogates, they are panicking. They are afraid. The thing that is running through their mind right now is that Joseph Boakai is developing strong business contact and political contact in other nations that will pay dividends. When George Weah was a private citizen, he never had nobody to come and even help him to ride private jet. After he became president of Liberia, then George Weah used the Liberian people money. You know the agreement with the Burkina Faso about the private jet. How they went and gave a lot of contract to the Burkina Faso man that was a friend, that 419 man. I mean, we can't even compare what Ambassador Joseph Boakai is doing. This is a legitimate arrangement. As a private citizen, he's going to discuss business issue. I don't see why should Joseph Boakai come to explain to the Liberian people that a friend helped him to get in private plane. So everywhere he will go now, he will come be making explanation. If he eat, then he will come and explain how he got money to eat.
Bishop, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me ask you this question based on what you just said. Now, citizens today, when you talk to them about the government mishappenings, they always compare that to the previous administration. Now I'm trying to understand your point. Are you saying that because when Weah was a private citizen, he flew private jets without anybody asking him for any explanation? Are you saying in that same vein that the former vice president should be allowed to do the same? Is that your point? I'm just trying to have
so many people flew private jet as private citizen. Nobody asked them. We are only it came about because Weah was president of Liberia, and by virtue, we need to know who is influencing our president, how he get.
I want for us to talk about
the issue. Let me tell you, this sedition has nothing to say.
Bishop, you are making a CDC argument. I want you to talk about the optics surrounding the vice president flying private jet. Now, let me ask you this question. respond to someone making this argument? That this man, the former vice president, in an interview once said that he's living on loan, but now he's seen flying private jet. How would you respond to someone that brings up that argument?
This is where the pay to play come in play, and I'll discuss that.
I will come to you. I want for the bishop to tackle this.
Listen, Joseph Boakai have friends. He have legitimate friends.
Again, sounding like
People,
a
listen to
argument.
me. So nobody can listen. Are you telling me that Joseph Boakai should not receive any assistance whatsoever from anybody if people are goodwill?
I'm not saying none
people
of
are raising money all over the world to help Joseph Boakai with his campaign. Will you question that?
All right, Bishop. Let me go to. I will come to you, Bobby. But let me get something out of Sylvester.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sylvester,
there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with Joseph Boakai.
Nothing wrong with it.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely something wrong with it. There's
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
There is no
I would not agree with you, Bobby. Nothing wrong with that. That old man been around for very long. He have friends.
It has nothing to do with that.
What friends are for? Let the Sidisha go and sit down.
Bishop Hagan, let us in order to the show. I will come back to you.
This is a hard zone. Gotta get a little heated.
Let me give you 30 seconds, Bobby, but I will come back to you officially. But 30 seconds.
This has nothing to do with sedition stuff. They have everything to do with integrity and obeying the law of the land.
What's the issue of integrity there?
Hang on now. The campaign finance law of Liberia is clear and unambiguous when it comes to accepting donation. And just a little correction, brother Jawinkin Weah. The vice president is not a private citizen no more. He is a presidential candidate. And by virtue of that status, whatever he does is scrutinized and is regulated by the National Election Commission. Real quickly, let me point one of the regulations here.
You are right.
Section 6.1 clearly states, no contribution shall be made to knowingly or accepted by any party or candidate who is not a citizen of the Republic of Liberia. The vice president told her he was broke. He accepted a gift.
Bobby.
Now that's the law here. So
Bobby, I want to come back to you officially, but I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. Let me go to you, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. Talk to us about the vice president, the former vice president traveling on private jet.
And I sitting in my seat and looking at Bobby. Bobby want to contradict himself.
I am not
the ANC. The ANC.
Let's
protect. Listen. Are you telling me that the ANC has the highest fundraising on social media than any political party in Liberia? Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me that I'm wrong. Let me deal with Bobby issue first. The highest you talk about. Ambassador Joseph Boakai is not a presidential candidate. He's not.
Newsflash.
I think we lost.
He's not. You are only a presidential candidate when you are being confirmed by the National Election Commission. Ambassador Boakai is a presidential aspirant. Yeah. Now, his private jet. He's a presidential aspirant. He's not a presidential candidate. So let's get that straight. The next thing is Ambassador Boakai is a private citizen. Whether he's in a political aspirant, he is a private citizen.
But do you understand?
He is using no.
Bobby
gave it chance. He's an aspirant. He is aspirant. He stays aspirant. He stays a private citizen.
He's expiring. So in essence,
he enjoys his right as a private citizen. Being aspirant, that does not. Bobby, let's get this thing straight. Let's get it straight. Being an aspirant, he has no access to the country resources. He has no access to it. And riding a private jet.
Allow this man to. This is intellectually disingenuous. I mean,
Bobby, I will
But
come
why you
to
call
you
it not
and you will
truthful?
address this thing.
So he doesn't enjoy his right as a private citizen because he's an
But there
aspirant.
is no free lunch.
Because the Boakai today can say
Sylvester,
no, but yeah.
Yeah, I will give you your time so you can finish. You can finish up.
Yeah, because Bobby don't want to give him. Bobby don't want to give him a time.
I will come back to you for you to give your
Bobby, wait.
Allow Sylvester to finish, please.
Bobby
Go
now
ahead,
is
Sylvester.
joining.
Go ahead, Sylvester.
Bobby is listening.
Intellectually ridicule
Bobby,
on this show, man. Don't do that.
No, not public ridicule, but the issue here
I
is
want
you
you
join.
to understand that
You join George Weah. You join President Weah now to
I will
think,
exercise the Constitution on the house on you,
to
Bobby.
compare his life with the life of private citizens who go against him. How could President Weah go on a public platform to say the people who are accusing me of riding private jet when I go do Librarian People business, like the people now riding private jet? The private jet that President Weah was riding, it was his personal money.
The question was
from the people, from the cover of the Liberian people. The private jet that Ambassador Boakai flew a few days ago, it was an offer. Then
that just made my point.
But that's why they say no free lunch.
The campaign finance laws of Liberia. That's what I'm saying.
So, but do you know? Did Ambassador Boakai told you? Did Ambassador Boakai told you that he went to beg for money? So because he is running.
Look,
did he tell you that?
Hang on now. This is where
he said alleged. The moment
my brother,
what it was alleged.
Bobby,
let's go back to the law. Let's go back to the law. Can you prove anything that Ambassador Boakai went to receive a money for campaign?
Honorable Sylvester, thank you very much. Bobby, let me come to you officially, please.
Okay, thank you.
You see, or Derek, you're not doing me justice. You allow Bobby to interrupt me until now you give me. You did not do me justice. You did not do me justice. That's not justice. Now you allow Bobby to interrupt, and now you send me. That was not justice. To us.
You can go to him and come to me later.
Listen, guys. Every time Bobby interrupted you, I tried to stop him. Now, the only reason I was going to Bobby is because I thought you had completed what you were saying. If you have it closer, I will give you the opportunity. And Bobby, please let Honorable Wamblu finish what he get to say.
Thank you. So I was trying to say, Bobby is trying to talk about laws that people should not get free gift. So Bobby also he's not proving anything right here on this platform, on this public platform that Ambassador Boakai trip he went to receive money. Ambassador Boakai was in the news of Nigeria for the past 3 days in the last 2 weeks, discussing the state of the affair of this country. In the Nigerian news, the ration of the Nigerian people. So he appeared on this platform to discuss his issues. There was nothing raised. There were nothing raised.
I have given
Derek, let me learn on this. Let me learn
to close. I can't have
10 seconds to close. 10 seconds to close. So Ambassador Boakai, as a presidential candidate, still has the right, a presidential aspirant, still has the right to go and have a discussion with people. So discussing with them, that does not prove that he received a money for them for campaign. So there is nothing in the paper or there is nothing in the public to say that Ambassador Boakai received X amount of money for campaign. None of that. So he only went for a visit and have a technical discussion with some business partners. What is the dividend in it? In case it's a business discussion for the future of Liberia, if he becomes president, and you just assuming that he received money and that is against the elections law.
Thank you, Honorable Wamblu. Let's come to you now, Mitchell Crawford.
Thank you. The Honorable Sylvester, let me tell you something. If you expiring, that means you seeking, you want to be. Unity Party, they went to a convention and they elected Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai as the person to represent them in the coming 2023 election. He is
still denying.
Honorable Sylvester, let's protect him, please.
Neck can still deny.
Honorable Sylvester, let's protect.
No, that Bobby understands that Neck can still deny such a candidate.
If you need time to rebuttal, I will come to you. But let's protect.
Let him go ahead. Let him go ahead.
How this? So he became the standard bearer of the Unity Party. He's the presidential candidate contesting the 2023 election. So he's not expiring. He already is. The convention have proven that already. So that's set.
The convention proved him as a political leader of the party. He have not been confirmed.
What are you talking about? What are you talking? So the ballot is going to
No. Let's get this straight. Let's get this straight.
Honorable, I don't want for you to have an exchange.
Let's get this straight.
Before you get anything straight, Honorable Sylvester.
Yeah.
Honorable One Blue. Let allow Bobby to finish his thought.
No, but Bobby is not getting the right information. No political party confirmed a political candidate
tonight. He's a victim of historical fallacy. But I will leave that there. Let me go to my point.
Go ahead.
The thing is, and this is something that I have talked exclusively about on this show when it comes to good governance, whether it's the violation of the residency clause, whether it's a violation of the TRC enforcing a report. Joseph Boakai just came into the picture. This is the problem that is wrong with Liberia. We do not respect our laws. And I'll just give you a quick example. A couple of years ago in my criminal justice class, one of my instructors, I think he noticed my accent, and he asked me, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Liberia," real quickly. And I felt a little offended, but he said, "No, I didn't mean to offend you." The next day when I came to class, he said, "But why you guys have problem in our country? I read your constitution, amendment that of the United States. Why are there so many problems?" And this is what it is. The campaign final laws of Liberia is clear and unambiguous when it comes to a candidate for office, especially the presidency, receiving foreign gift. This is where the United Party communication team, just what we talk about, that's how we talk about President. We are not doing a good job being transparent in all the different travel the president engaged in. The United Party, the communication team, supposed to be on the forefront of this thing to give us the control of the discussion. Why is he traveling over there? Everything in Liberia is in secrecy. The man is no longer a private citizen here in the United States. When you have been declared the presidential candidate or major political party, all of the Republican, all the Democrat, your every move is scrutinized. That's the reason why they ask for a tax return. Liberia is no exception.
Thank you.
The laws are there. So if you accept a private jet to travel and he said he was broke, we want to know who that person and have they alleged that person is an unsavory character. And you telling me, oh, the man got contact. No, it has nothing to do with contact. It has everything to do with the violation of the Constitution of Liberia. It has everything to do with
who violating Constitution? Where is the Constitution being violated?
He disrespected.
No, Bobby, there is nothing in the Constitution that Joseph Boakai violated. To go visit somebody that why called violating a Constitution to go and visit somebody. No, but Bobby is not doing justice to us, because if Joseph Boakai go to visit somebody, it means that he is violating the Constitution. There is no way. How can somebody private visit be? How can somebody private visit? How can somebody private visit be in violations of the Constitution? That is not right.
Listen, guys. Listen. I just got alert that we ran out of time for this segment, but I will have to go to you, Reverend Addy. Give us your take on this discussion, and then we will take a break and go to our next discussion.
So first of all, I'm exceptionally glad that Honorable Joseph Imam Boakai rode a private jet, because it was long propagated in the media that he has no contact, and therefore other alternatives would better serve Liberia. Now he demonstrates that he has a potential contact. It means that it is alleged that he is, familiarizing himself with pay to play, in the words of my friend and brother, the Lord Mayor Mitchell. But may I remind Mr. Mitchell that one of the main funders of the coming STEM school is Coca-Cola Factory. Is he aware of that? Is Mr. Mitchell also aware of the fact that Richelieu Dennis is a multi-millionaire? He works on Cummings board. Is that a setup for pay to play? Can I make the judgment that all of these rich folks who are with him today are demonstrable of a potential insinuation of corruption? So let's be very clear. None of these guys, by that law that you're reading, will qualify to run for the presidency of Liberia. And that, of course, Mr. Cummings. who has Coca-Cola Factory supporting the kind of foundation that in fact built a school for him. Coca-Cola Factory is well known all over the world for exploiting labor. But Mr. Cummings worked for Coca-Cola Factory. But does that mean he's not a man of integrity and will not lead Liberia better because he has association with Coca-Cola Factory? I doubt it. I think he will make a good leader. But by that standard, then Mr. Cummings got Mr. Richelieu Dennis, a Liberian multi-millionaire, the owner of Sundial, $100 million. Should we anticipate that this investor will exploit Liberia by his relationship with
Thank
Mr.
you,
Cummings?
thank you
That's
very much.
a conjecture.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi and Bobby. I see you
Yeah, let me.
have
I
something to
just.
say, but listen,
Okay,
we
so
we
don't worry,
we
Coach. I
timed
just wanted to know ANC Global.
we timed the segments tonight, so we have to follow
Okay,
the
that's
rules.
fine. That's
So we
fair
are out of
enough.
time for this segment.
That's
Bobby,
fair
But
I'm
enough.
Bobby,
but
I'm
just to
I'm
close
sorry for
out,
that PKO.
just to close out on this topic,
That's fine. That's fair.
Bobby.
Bobby,
Yeah, just to close out on this topic, guys, when you're watching us, continue to engage the program in the comment section. And just my take on this topic to close out on, I find it very interesting that
Because
today
Cummings sit on the board
we
of all major
when we
corporations.
beat
He's
the current
audited.
president, when we beat
ANC, whatever
Bobby,
contributions.
I protect you all the time. Can you at least protect me? Thank you. I
That
find
punch
it
was
very
too heavy.
interesting. I find it
yeah,
very
Bobby
interesting
want to
that
defend it.
Sylvester. I find it very interesting that when we beat on the president today, and when supporters of the government come to defend the president, they're always making excuses by comparing what the president doing to that of the previous administration.
And we don't.
I find it very interesting that people that supported United, Jose Yima Boakai, are making those same arguments today. But
No, we
again,
are not. We are
but
not.
again,
No, that
I
allegation
find it very
against us, we are
interesting.
not making similar
I
argument.
find it very
The difference
interesting. But
is
hey,
our argument
listen,
is
guys,
President Weah
listen,
used Liberian
listen.
people the public
Sylvester,
funds.
we are out of
Ambassador
time. We are out
Boakai
of
is
time.
not using public funds. That is our
We are
argument.
out of
That is
time.
not comparison.
If you're watching us,
That is not comparison.
wherever you're watching us from, you're still watching the Hard Zone. My name is Derek Yale, and we're about to take a very brief break. When we come back, we will continue our discussion, focusing on the opposition community. Again, we'll see you after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Hard Zone with Derek Yale, and you're watching it on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And welcome back. We were having a very interesting discussion on the former vice president traveling on private jet. But now we would like to transition into another discussion, but we're still within the opposition community. Last week, December 7th, the Liberians People Party. First of all, let me welcome back my panelists on the screen. So, guys, last week, the Liberians People Party, Honorable Councillor Tewon Gonglo Party had a press conference. And on that press conference, they announced a peaceful rally. They announced a 3-day peaceful rally dubbed Mass People Action to Rescue the State Peaceful Protest beginning December 14th. That is to be a 3-day protest. And on the list of items, on their petition list, they calling on the government and the international community to allege constitutional crisis, and high corruption in the country, the alleged failure of the National Elections Commission to sensitize Liberians in the voting process, and also calling on President Weah wasteful spending in his 48-day stay out of the country. They're talking about the failed census. And for this discussion, I would like for us to focus on one, the rally after the CPP scheduled rally for the 17th. They were tire suffering rally, and also statement that the the party chairman of the Liberian People Party made. He said the CPP is not legal, and he attacked the persons of Louis Brown. And he also he made a statement that the rally is more about endorsing Cummins than it is because of for the Liberian people. So I wonder for us to talk about that. Uh, does this show some level of disunity within the opposition community? And why is the Liberian People Party taking such a strong position on one of the leading opposition party or campaign team chairman? So I want for us to have that conversation. If you're watching us, leave us your take in the comment section. And for this discussion, I would like to start with you, Mr. Winkin Weah, because on the last episode when we talked about the CPP rally, you said that you support the rally. You said that you think Liberians should somebody that is their constitutional rights and things like that. You said, but your party position on this rally and the comment on the person of Louis Brown. I want to hear your take on this. So I would like to begin this conversation with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. I'd like to clarify like the last information I just got before we came on air regarding the LPP rally. There is no set date yet. From what I just gathered from the officials in the United States, they are still holding discussion. I think the Senate bureau is intervening about any protest, about any other thing that has to do with rally at this point in time. So as far as I'm concerned, prior to coming to the show, there is no set time. And regarding my previous statement about the support of the rally, about the support of the gathering of the people that organize it, like it is in the Constitution, Liberians have the right. As a person, I support whoever wants to demonstrate in Liberia, to protest, to highlight the suffering of Liberians, which I support. But with respect to the conflict in LPP specifically, I can't. The only thing I can say about that is that there is no set time for any rally. There is still discussion ongoing.
Get to stay with you. What do you make of the party's chairman statement on that of Louis Brown? What do you make of that?
Well, everybody is entitled to his or his opinion. I mean,
I don't mean to cut you off, but for the record, he said that is the party's official. If you watch the clip, he said that is the party's
yes.
official.
I did see that. I just watched a few minutes ago when you replay that. Why it is true that I am not the spokesman of the party. I am on the media committee of Team Gonglo here based in the United States. As before I came on air, when I heard that, I just called around. What I gather is what I'm saying to you. I don't want to say something that is not official. That I understand that the Senate bureau himself is intervening into the situation. So there is still discussion with respect to holding rally or protest. Some people are proposing December 21st, which is not also a good time. I think there's still a lot of discussion. I think the LPP wants to be part of the concern of all Liberians, but at this point in time, there is no conclusive date as to whether they will take part in the previously organized rally by the opposition or LPP or own rally. So there is no decision with respect to participation into any rallies at this time.
So just for information purpose, you're saying that the date that was announced in that press conference is not confirmed yet.
That's correct.
Okay, let's move to you, Reverend Addy. Reverend Addy, are you with us?
Absolutely.
Yes. The I think you saw the video. The Liberian People Party. I mean, the CPP planned a rally scheduled for December 17th dubbed We're Tired Suffering. And the Liberian People Party announced a rally, which Mr. Weah just confirmed that the date has not been confirmed. But I want you to speak to the party's chairman's statement on that of Louis Brown. You watched the video. Give us your take.
Right. So first of all, I'm certainly disappointed in the party's chairman's attempt to decry the rally that is about to take place on December 17th. Let me remind this panel that Liberian People's Party is the political wing of Moja that was born in 1973 by Togba Nati Pote. One of the founding members was Dr. Henry Boima Famule, Amos Sawyer, and the Gambian revolutionary Su Yang, who overthrew the Gambian government. So here we are. Henry Boima Famule was the national security advisor to Ellie and also a cardinal person of the NPFL that split, that was bringing the group from Sierra Leone, but they were halted. So this idea that Louis Brown is so dirty and has been involved with the war, let me remind you very plainly that Moja, that has the LPP as the political wing today, had members that is still existing today, H. Boima Famule, that was also a rebel leader. So make no mistake, when people come up with clean hands, the CPA turned warring parties into political parties and Liberian voters. Alco, Alhaji Kuma Party. Alco, Alhaji Kuma Party. NPFL became NPP. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was the first political leader, rebel leader that we elected. The CDC has as its vice president, Joe Howard Taylor, political leader. So is it about the message for a greater good without suffering, or is it about the personality? But if it is about the personality, then I'm yet looking for which political leader or the chairman or an institution that is absorbed plainly from the Liberian political crisis we went through.
Thank you.
Louis Brown is the messenger. Makes very good sense on the greater good without suffering, consistent with Article 1 of the Constitution and Article 17 of the Constitution.
Thank you very much, Reverend Ali. Let me come to you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Give us your take on this entire Liberian People Party announcing the campaign and then making a very devious statement on the person of Louis Brown. Give us your take.
I mean, the Reverend just stole my thunder because that was my talking point. You saw me earlier, I was just looking at my phone, I'm trying to do that whole Moja connection, but it's okay. He eloquently stated my position already. Because I'm really not surprised at the Councilor Gonglo's statement about, Louis Brown being a rebel and all that,
Not Councilor Gonglo, though.
Well, the messenger, whatever he tried to portray, whatever way he trying to, frame the narrative. So he presents himself as someone who's clean, corruption free, a new direction for Liberians. You see the Reverend there poking to that argument. It is in the Bible, the Reverend is here, he can attest to that. He who of us seen cast the first stone. We had a civil strife decimated our country. 250,000 of our brothers and sisters were killed. A lot of them we sought refuge in the country. One way or the other, somebody participated in that whole quagmire. Louis Brown was information minister under Charles Taylor. He also served as information minister under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He worked briefly with President Weah. Look at the whole Weah government. Len Eugene Name, he was the chief of staff to Moses Blah, who was the vice president of Charles Taylor. Charles Bright, the political advisor to George Weah. He's the political advisor to George Weah. Look no further, look in the United Party. The Honorable Benana Ure. That Charles,
not a member of the United Party.
You understand?
That's not a member of the United Party.
Hang on. So I'm just saying all of this to say in essence that do not look at the messenger. Look at the message that the Reverend alluded to. You understand? Retired suffering is not mutually exclusive. Today in Liberia, people are suffering. People are suffering to put food on their tables. Families are suffering to send their children to school. People going to work, civil servants, they don't even know what their pay are. It fluctuates. Today, on money making 150, the following month make 120, and it's not even regularized. So the suffering is too much. Even at the last press conference, when Louis Brown said, I am not the person that we're going to be speaking, we're going to have different organizations that are going to multiple and talk. The organizations are going to participate in this rally. You know the reason why they're not calling it protest, which is almost synonymous, protest rally? You know, it's a Liberian political nomenclature, right? If people say protest, what comes to the Liberian people mind? They be angry and demonstrating in the street. They forget to know is the scene are almost they are almost the same. That's the reason why we're using that language to say rally, but it's almost the same. Citizen rally is a petition their government. They protest, they voicing their opinion to their government to make changes. So it's almost interchangeable. It's synonymous. So when we focus on rally, there's a reason behind that because of the way the Liberian people perceive things. So, but I'm just saying, in essence, the whole rally thing here shouldn't be a dividing topic because suffering is in Liberia. So the LPP coming up making statement about Louis Brown this, Louis Brown that, it only divide the opposition and give that latitude to President Weah to continue, engaging in bad governance, which I think is a big mistake, and the Liberian people will suffer.
Thank you very much, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. I'd like to come to you now, Sylvester Wamplu. Before I give you the opportunity to take a stab at this discussion, I got words that you're disowning Uri that was on the private jet with your stand-up barrel.
No, he is not. He's not a member of. I'm not disowning. He's not a member.
Do not allow me to distract you. Do not allow me to distract you.
He's not a member. Uri is not a member. Uri is a supporter.
Go ahead and talk about it.
He's a supporter. That's true.
He's not a member. He's not a member of the Unity Party.
Yes, he's a supporter.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
He is a supporter to Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai. So okay,
Before you continue, though, don't let me take us off this topic. But it has been alleged that Yuri is trying to be the running mate to Joseph Yuma Boakai. But go ahead.
A different topic.
Yeah, don't let that distract you. But go ahead.
You say alleged. You want to be the running mate.
Yeah, he's trying to provoke the boy intellectual reservoir.
No, Ambassador Boakai, Unity Party gave Ambassador Boakai the right to nominate his vice running mate. He has the right.
Okay.
But how does that vice running mate and been accepted to the Liberian people? That's another issue.
Okay,
when Ambassador Boakai chose his running mate, 2017, we supported his vice running mate. We supported the ticket. We as member of the Unity Party. Now let's get to Louis Brown issue, and that's where there were many LPP issues. There were many Liberians also says that Cummings is a contradiction of his own message to Liberia. Mr. Alexander Cummings is one president in this country that came and said, every politician in the country that ratting people, and we always use recycling politicians. When you check the Cummings ticket, political frontliners of his campaign, these are all recycled politicians. But yesterday he criticized all of the people. So if somebody Mr. Alexander Cummings feels that his hands were clean, he had no issues in Liberia. So he always says that we should not use this old wine in the new wine in the old bottle. Today he's using old wine in the new bottle. And yet come to the protest. It's something you don't know where many Liberians are thinking in this country that we own the ground here. Many Liberians now feel that protest is about promoting Cummings. So that's the reason why that rally does not have much momentum. Because people are saying that the rally is about Cummings. It is not about the Liberian people. Trust me. If it was
how?
Yes, that's.
Mr. Weah, I'm giving you plain facts about saying in the corridor.
How is it about Cummings?
Listen. I'm telling you what is playing in the corridor.
But we
I'm
want to
telling
see
you.
on
So
the
when you
17th,
say
which
we
was
tired, I mean,
Saturday.
suffering is about is coming suffering.
No, listen now. Listen. The message of retired suffering is a reality. Librarians are suffering.
Okay. So
But
what do
listen
I
to
say
me
about
That's
now.
not
coming?
what you were saying.
Let
So
let
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 me
let let
learn.
it
let let
seems
let
like
listen to
just feeding off
Sylvester.
what the general sentiment being expressed here. Last week you were singing a different tune, but today now you're trying to take a sample of what the people saying. Now you have a different position.
But what you say?
Uh,
But I did not.
no,
What
no,
I
no,
That's
no.
said last week,
inconsistent.
I did not tell
Bobby,
you. I
Bobby,
did not
Bobby,
tell you.
Bobby.
I did not tell you
Sylvester,
that
Sylvester,
I support. You asked me whether I
Sylvester,
would attend the rally. I told you no.
Sylvester, Sylvester.
Yeah.
Well, let me hold you for a second, Mister Jai Winkin. We are asking you a very important question. You made a statement, and he asked you how, and you were about to provide facts. So I would
Hey,
like to ask the guys to allow you to conclude on that.
thank you. So we discussing the people who supposed to attend. I'm not saying librarians will not attend the conference. The rally. If I say that, I will not be doing justice to this forum. I'm saying that majority of the people in the corridor I not their major saying at this identical rally with tire suffering. The main intent of it is to promote commies. It is not, it's what commies try to portray that because librarians are suffering, let come express ourselves. Their major achievement and major intent in it is to promote commies. That's why you see many librarians are too spectacle on what they speak. Even after me, as any other opposition political leaders, they will be very careful in what they say about that identical rally. If
So
that
if
rally was
fire coming, if
established,
coming say fire coming, the people will not run away.
you know, fire coming, that different thing of organizing rally. The
Mr.
rally,
Wongo, let me
the
let me
rally
let me
has an intent. It has an internal motive. The internal motive here is we must ride on the people tired suffering, the people suffering life to get our political glory. That's what
Mr.
the intent.
Sylvester,
The intent is
Sylvester.
let's use a message. Let's use a message that will convince the people to come out. When we convince them to come out on those messages because they are suffering, they are hungry, and we tell them say Georgia is making them hungry, they will come out. When they come out, we will
Do
gain
they
our
wait,
political
wait,
glory.
wait? Do
So
you think,
that
Sylvester? Let me ask you a question. Do you think the
yeah.
Liberian people? Do you think the Liberian people need the CPP or ANC to tell them that we are making them hungry?
You know, but that's the reason that what the ANC trying to portray. And trust me,
All
if
right.
it was it
Let me.
was a civil society, sorry, if it was a civil society that was
Mm.
organizing that protest, you could see many endorsement statements. Since it was in Louis Brown has announced a protest, how many political parties have endorsed such a statement?
I mean,
Let
No
me.
political party, no political
surprised
opposition
Let
political
me.
you
party
are the
Before
only
endorsed
before
that
before I,
statement.
before I
No.
leave before I
surprised.
leave you though
But I'm
before I
telling
leave
you,
you,
no
Sylvester,
political parties, no opposition
Sylvester,
political party have endorsed such a statement. No
Sylvester,
political endorsement.
Sylvester. Before I leave you though, let me draw your attention to one of the questions that was asked in the interview.
Yeah.
Can Louis Brown be a changer? That was the question asked by the party chairman. What do you
Yeah,
what
can Louis Brown be a
speaking on
change?
the issue of be a change?
That's a very good thing. Can Louis Brown be a change? In my
I'm
mind,
a- I'm asking you.
yeah. Now what I say in my mind, Louis Brown is a political hunter, and opportunist.
I
How
tell
would
you.
you compare him
Don't
with
fret.
Bernard? How would you compare him with Bernard Ure?
No, Bernard Yue have been consistent in his political fight more than that man. Bernard Yue fought the Unity Party to their toe. He was a serious financier to the CDC. He
Thank you.
said
Thank you.
a serious financier.
I can't have you going more than 4 minutes.
Yeah, you can't have him. But so let
Let me
me
give you
lay on the
seconds
note.
to
Let me
wrap
lay
up.
on
Yeah.
the note.
Yeah, I'm
Let me
having
lay
a
on the
hard
note.
time following that brother, man. And we just, I'm telling you, because he's all over the place. I'm just
Yeah, but
trying
let
to.
me lay on the note. I'm not all over the place. I'm giving Louis Brown and Bernard Yue. Louis Brown and Bernard Yue come from
Thank you, internet. Now we can
Thank you.
move.
Can you guys hear me?
NPP. Louis Brown and Bernard Yue.
Sylvester, Reverend Adi, I would like to come to you next. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Um, Sylvester, before he disconnect, oh, he
Activity
said
on
he's still trying to come back.
CDC.
You can go to
I think his
Reverend.
internet is buffering.
Yeah, the internet is. Yeah, but let me come to you though, Reverend Addy, on this the two protests. Mr. Weah just confirmed that he just told us that the dates for the LPP protest hasn't been confirmed. But let me talk. Let me ask you about the momentum on this "We Tire Suffering" or rally. And Sylvester just said that no other political party has endorsed this or rally, and it's not gaining the momentum as a rally usually gain in Liberia. What do you make of that? Do you think this protest is gaining or not gaining the momentum, and why do you think that's the case?
Well, well, you can't easily measure something that hasn't already happened, and that's what my friend and brother tried to do. I can certainly valid, validate the fact that it's on the ground, but in my opinion, when Mr. Brown listed a cross section of the Liberian society, the Yana boys, the market women, and so forth and so on, I think I heard him list about maybe 5 to 10 different organizations that are part of the protest. In my opinion, that's good. So the protest, if it's about the greater good in representing the plight of the Liberian people, once it's done peacefully, consistent with the Constitution of Articles 1 and 17, I support it.
That's correct.
Um,
Great.
if the idea here that it's not gaining momentum and it will not be successful, that remains to be seen.
No,
But Mr. Brown has been on all of the different radio.
Honorable.
Mr. Brown has been on all of the different radio stations, and he's definitely causing some great noise to the point where seditions will come to attack him. So by that alone, you can tell that he's gaining some kind of traction to the president in his town hall meeting. Definitely demonstrated some concern about the protest, so it's rising to some elevated level. So, if individuals are trying to calm it down because of potential fear that it will not work, in my opinion, I think it's gaining traction. But, my friend and brother is on the ground. I may be hearing something different, but I think it looks like he's having press conferences every now and then. It's gaining some attraction. Publicity is everything. Marketing is the key.
The CPP rally planned for December 17, Reverend Addy just said, in his opinion, is gaining the necessary traction. If you're watching us and you feel in the program, continue to engage this discussion in the comment section, and of course, continue to share the program on your respective social media or pages. Let me come to you, Mr. Ja Winkin. On the discussion on the whether the rally is gaining momentum. I would like for you to respond to that. But I see you have a rebuttal to Sylvester. But before you can do that, in the press conference, I know you confirmed the date. You talk about the date. Your party chairman, or Liberian People Party chairman, said that we as a party don't see ourselves associating with Louis Brown. And he's the head of this rally scheduled for December 17th. My question: will your party change position on this and come out with the CPP for this rally come December 17th? Do you think a party will change
Well,
its position?
I think, as I said, like they are, there's when it, because as you know, like the Senate Bureau is currently in the United States, and when it was brought to his attention, he talked to a few people, and I talked to other few people today, and they said that actually there is no conclusive date. Other people are suggesting that instead of doing that, they needed to take a petition to the national legislature to present maybe by December 31st, I mean December 21st, which is also not conclusive. But there is an ongoing discussion. I think so, which is obvious in all politics, whether here in the West or in Africa. But what is undeniable in Liberia is that there is the plight of the Liberian people is concerning to everybody who love Liberia. The opposition parties, they need to really understand that the Liberians want to see unity of voice in terms of description of what is going on in the country. They don't need any confusion about. That's what I was telling Sylvester that nobody can deny that the Liberian people are not suffering. That's why I was also asking whether if coming were to announce that there is a fire because it's coming, so they will not run away. I think it is a misjudgment on the part of anybody that to raise concern about the plight of Liberian people, to make it to be about somebody else who brought about it, and that has been the bias side of politics in our country, regardless who says it. Well, it is in the interest of the entire country. So Liberian people need to understand. Going to the rally, it means you are raising concern. Going to the rally, it means you are concerned as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to vote for the person who raised the issue, but it's an issue that is common to all Liberians. So I don't see why people should make noise about that. Louis Brown, you got a president, the former president of wife as a vice president. Kilo committed more atrocities than any other warring faction. You accepted that. You got all these people all these people that are still around Weah, that from Doe to Taylor, they are still in the government. Louis Brown might have he was part of Taylor as well. But if you can accept all these people, Bernard Yue, he was a maritime commissioner under Taylor. All these people are part of politics in Liberia. So why do you have problem somebody saying the truth simply because it came from this particular person, because he's not part of your partisan or part of your party? Well, it's a big mistake. I want for all Liberians to understand that no matter who says it, the problem we have in Liberia, all of us, regardless of party, is Liberians are suffering. Nobody can deny that fact.
Yeah, I just wanted to add my voice to this regarding. I think the moderator is facing some technical difficulties, so it's okay if I go ahead and contribute. Here's the thing, though. If I am an ardent supporter of the Liberian People Party, the United Party, or the other party out there, the All Liberian People Party, and I believe in the vision, the platform of that particular party, whether Mr. Comey organized a rally and I go to that rally, it's not going to make me support him, because I don't believe in a platform. I don't believe in a candidacy. So it's oxymoron to even suggest that in the first place, that Mr. Cummings is doing this so he can attract more people and more people can come to him. That simply means, in essence, you don't even trust your own partisans. Like the people can say, partisans. You don't trust them. You see, so that's the problem. What I want the Liberian people, everybody else to know here is that Liberia is at a crossroad. The people elected George Weah in a free and fair election because they believe that he was going to expeditiously deliver them from the quagmire of bad governance, rampant corruption, and all of those negative vices that serve as a constraint on their daily lives. But he has proven to be a big disappointment. And today, the people are finding it hard to access adequate health care. Education has eluded them. People can't even put food on their tables. I don't need to tell them the suffering. I live here in Texas. I can afford food to eat. I have a job. I have a car I can drive. But the average Liberian don't have that. So on December 17th, as constitutionally mandated or is guaranteed, they're going to express their frustration. And if there's anything, the government should be happy. You know, because even a therapist will tell you, if you get something in you for a while, if you don't, you don't manifest that feeling, it can metamorphose into something very bad. You know, the country is at a boiling point. The president left. He abdicated his responsibility. He been out of the country almost 2 months. 7-7 having taken pay, there is real and imagined suffering in the country. So to say, let's just keep quiet because Mr. Brown, who used to be an associate with Charles Taylor, is saying, let's go out and write it and tell the government tax suffering. No, I don't want to be there because he associated with Charles Taylor. Then you are empowering this government. You are giving the government lesson to keep you in bondage, which is not a good thing. Liberians are resilient people. Liberians know that whatever they're going through today is now their life story. So they want to right the wrong. And coming out on December 17 is just an expression that we tired suffering and the government needs to pay attention to our suffering. Brother Sylvester, you can come in.
Yeah, on let's get something. Let people get my point straight. I'm not saying that Liberians won't attend the rally. I'm just giving you information of things that are happening and the perception of people and how the momentum is going around. The next thing is I want to tell Reverend, don't mind that statement that Nyana Boy, Pepe Rado, those statements, they are political statements. Yesterday, Louis Brown said Pepe Rado. The next day, the Nyana Boys had press conference say they're not part of protest. People use these statements in political use these statements as political speeches to be able to attract attention. Now, I'm not saying that Liberians are not suffering. Liberians here are suffering. But I'm telling you that those guys, like the perception of people of these guys that organize the protest, their intent is not to fight for Liberian. That's what the people are saying. And now, that's why I repeat again, more political parties are not endorsing. Sylvester play a major role. I plays a major role in the Unity Party. If I tell you I'm going to that conference, to that rally, I will carry that next to 200 president. I got the authority, I got the power. Today, Sylvester is not going to that rally. If the Unity Party endorsed that identical rally to say all citizens, all Unity partisans, we are prepared to go to that identical rally, our Sylvester will be in the forefront.
So will the Unity Party endorse the rally?
I don't know if Unity Party will endorse the rally. Unity Party have not yet come up with a statement. I'm not the official spokesperson. I'm an operative, a decision maker in the Unity Party Youth Congress. I play a major role.
You don't think for yourself. You're a robot.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying
you march.
So no, it's not that.
Liberian.
No, it's not that.
Not the old man name. The old man said nothing about the rally. Not criticize it or say anything.
That's what I said. I said Unity Party have not.
Oh, I will go.
No, I said Unity Party have not make a position statement.
And you say if they say that they say I should go to the rally, you will be there. You just keep contradicting yourself.
Oh, but I say if they make a statement, but the party have not make a position statement. I'm not in the driving seat of the party to make a position. I'm going to tell you the kind of role that I play. I'm going to tell you that the type of role that I play. Bobby, you are talking, I was not talking. You are talking, I was not talking. I want to tell you the role that I play in the National Youth Congress of the party.
All right, I'm appealing to you here. So 200 people who can use them. I beg you, come to the rally.
You know, I'm listen. I'm not. I have a position, and that position has
political to be operative. I can use the expertise as a political operative.
Yeah, but listen though. So then look at the intent behind the rally. Watch me. Derek, there's identical Bobby. Bobby not talking tomorrow. If the Unity Party goes for if the Unity Party goes for second round, Bobby will campaign against the Unity Party. He will not say like Brent Sovereign. The CCDC, they operated Louis Brown, the other day, they either stay off. So people are not sincere to themselves. Yeah, just give me a chance. Let me learn. 1 minute.
Just had enough time talking.
No, I never. I just keep.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
My people.
Go ahead.
I just keep up. Yes. Bobby talk lengthily. He pushes ideas. Nobody interrupted. So what I'm saying, is the ANC guys, the guys that Bobby is defending today, talking about Liberians are tired suffering. Let's go to 2023 elections. We will be on the platform and we'll come back. All these guys, the George Wisner, the Donkey Cassell, the Louis Brown, all the front runners of the ANC today, if ANC does not go to the second round, they will not support the Unity Party.
I can tell you this today.
Bobby, you must support the Unity Party.
Hang on. I said Bobby Michelle Crawford, me and my husband. If it is between Ambassador Boakai and George Weah, you
will support it.
Amen.
You will support it.
All right, let me leave the other man.
Yeah, so
the man is telling that you.
If you allow him to finish, then you will get to know whether he will support it or not. You want to allow
Bobby to finish, but Bobby interrupting me. Let me end it. Let me end.
Bobby, he was just about to make a statement that you can hold him on tomorrow.
Okay, so let him make a statement.
Allow him to finish.
Let him make a statement. Let him make it. I'll leave, Bobby. Please go on.
I'm telling you, they are male, head of male. If it comes to just a choice candidate like George Weah one side, and it's so happy Ambassador Joseph Iman Boakai is on the other side, I'd rather show my support behind Joseph Boakai than George Weah. It's the same thing on Councillor Gonglo. Cummings, it's a giving already. So
no, it's a giving already. I agree.
Let me make the conversation simple. The man that gave you his word, can you say the same thing if it was Joseph, if it was George Weah and Cummings?
Derek, I've never supported George Weah. I would choose not to support
the question.
So if Cummings goes to the second round, I will campaign for Cummings.
All right, we have your word. This.
Trust me, I will not stay back.
That's good.
I will play a major role in Cummings elections. But the only problem I got with Cummings people, Cummings, full runners, all these things they're doing, second round they will go in common. Somebody will take money. Somebody will say, okay, they don't want to be part. Librarians should go and make their own decision.
Do not assume,
you're making
don't pass judgment.
You're making an assumption.
Mr. Weah, we know the ANC did it into us in 2017.
Sylvester,
they say when Snake burn you when you see laser, you're wrong. ANC did it to us in 2017.
Sylvester, I had a question for you, but I would like to move on because I gave you the opportunity to wrap up.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would like to raise the issue of united opposition. The president, we know he's in the state. He made a statement on an session yesterday saying that the opposition community, they were just wasting their time. They can't even come together as one. And now looking at the political space in Liberia, CPP organized. First of all, CPP and United Party was in CPP, and then they divorced, and that split up. And then now CPP organizing a rally that, according to Sylvester, United Party probably will not endorse. And then Liberian People Party on the other side making a very flammable statement about the chairman of ANC campaign team. A lot of division in the opposition community, and then we're less than a year away from the elections. What does that say about the opposition community? Is this like a good trend? Would this come together at some point in time? Does it look like it's going to come together at some point in time? I want you guys to speak on that. Let me start with you, Mr. Jawinkin Weah. Are you with us, Mr. Weah?
Yes. Please repeat your questions.
The division. I raised the issue about the division in the opposition community. We are less than a year from the election. CPP having rally up, and Liberian People Party announced a rally, and Unity Party may not endorse the CPP protest that is for the Liberian people with tired suffering, and all of these frictions in the opposition community, along with the president's statement that the opposition community they are wasting the time. Is this like a good trend? Will it at some point in time come together for the opposition community? I want you to respond to that.
Yes. This in democracy, there's always division. Even in your house, people can argue. But this is what I can tell everybody. include especially for sedition. Before then, nobody knew who Weah was. Now the Liberia people know. All the Liberians, we all know who he is. All the opposition leaders, they all know. All the opposition supporters, they all know. At the end of the day, what is clear is that Weah can never win a first round. When he was when he was more popular, he didn't. Now that he's unpopular, he got people broke away from him, he will never. So what is a fact is that whoever goes second round, the rest of the opposition, no amount of money will influence any of them to go support Weah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weah. I'd like to come to you, Reverend Adi. Speak to us about the division or the frictions in the opposition community.
So the incumbent himself has division. There are lots of disenchanted seditions. There are lots of disenchanted NPP members. So I think all of them are on equal footing in the political market space to win the hearts of the Liberian people. Inconsistent with the political reality is the fact that Mr. Cummings has never led Liberia, Boakai has never led Liberia in a way that takes on the full shoulder. But George Weah, the celebrity that we had no record about, has a record now. So it is left with the aspirants to make that case to the minds and hearts of the Liberian people and run in ways that win the hearts and definitely win President Weah. So I think this election is certainly up for grabs, whether or not the opposition is united. Somebody can win Weah in the second round.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi. I would like to come to you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Give us your take on the frictions in the opposition community.
I thought we're done with the topic, but it's very exhausting number.
Yeah, we're closing up on that. That's it. That we're wrapping up.
Well, there's no question that, like the Reverend said, even the ruling party, there's a sense of disunity. It's no longer the Congress for Democratic Change. It's no longer for whatever it used to be, the NPP, whatever marriage arrangement they had. The Coalition for Democratic Change. Now they have broken apart. Now it's the Congress for Democratic Change. People don't know that they just had a convention. They broke apart. The NPP is a political party by itself. I don't know where Joel Howard Taylor stands now. And then CDC is now CDC. So it just speaks to the polarization of our politics. In lieu of the 2023 elections, people are going their respective political corners. They are espousing different political orientation. But I'm hoping that at the end of the day, we can have a united opposition to try and remove this George Weah government. Because if we don't do so, you think the last 6 years the country was suffering. The next 6 years is going to be on steroid. Prices of things going to go up. Healthcare is going to be a constraint for the citizen. And a lot of basic services are supposed to, improve the lives of the Liberian people. We elude them for a very long time. So it is very important at this critical juncture in our nation's history that we have a united opposition. And I'm hopeful because, like I said earlier last week, I attend high-level meetings. Some I can discuss here. And I listened to some of the fruitful discussion that has been here. All of the hyperbolic and partisan banter that we engage in here. People in the background said they're not even doing that. These are being cut. I don't want to say these are being cut, but they're having discussion. And I'm hoping that come next year, we'll be speaking a different tune. And George Weah is scared. He's going to be a one-time president. And I'm hopeful that's going to happen.
Thank you very much. And I would like for you, Sylvester, to close out on the discussion for us. Give us your take on the frictions in the opposition community.
George Weah and his group, they are not united. So before George Weah became president, we had 22 opposition candidates. 22 opposition candidates that went to 2017 elections. After that first round, George Weah enjoys the support of Liberians, thinking in their mind the Unity Party was not doing nothing. They were not seditions. And they gave George Weah the opportunity in the second round. Liberians know the ability of George Weah and they know he is zero. The CDC that George Weah is promoting, that he's serving as a political leader. How many times the CDC have press conference? You see the Secretary General of the coalition. The Secretary General of the coalition is Senator James Barney. I challenge the CDC to show me one press conference that Senator Barney led as a Secretary General of the CDC. It tells you that NPP has an issue. I challenge the CDC to tell me how many press conferences that was held and you'll see of Ellis Talon at the CDC party headquarters. And when the last time have you ever saw Ellis Talon sitting at CDC party headquarters? That is not a division. So Georgia cannot solve his problem home. He's talking about opposition are not united, even if the ruling establishment is not united. So he thinks that he won can overthrow can overcome the opposition. Georgia is continuing to dream that he's doing nothing in this country, and he's continuing to pretend to Americans, the Liberians Americans, thinking that he is fixing the country. I listen to his speech that they think the people sport with fixing it. I challenge President Weah again, the entire CDC, to show me one major role. In every role is his strength. I challenge President Weah and the entire CDC to show me one major role that have been established in this country, built or rehabilitated, because according to the PAPD, President Weah promised Liberians in 5 years' time he will connect all political capital city to Monrovia. I challenge President Weah to do from Grenku to Sano, which is the shortest political capital city road from now to 2023. He has nothing to show.
Thank you so much.
All that challenging doing that ball a cool ball, you put blood in your mouth.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sylvester, and thanks to all of you for your contribution on this topic. And at this point, I would like to draw the curtain on this segment of the show, and we'll take a very brief break. And when we come back, we will bring you the icebreaker round of the hard zone.
Hey there. Many Liberians are members of social clubs, 501c NGOs, and school alumni. Many Liberians are trying to open their own 501c NGOs, home care agencies, and social clubs. Does your organization have a professional website? Does your web platform have the right wording and content to attract grants? Hopefully you're not running your organization only through social media. There's a more professional route. You need an online space where you can craft a positive message about your organization, making your home health agency more credible, which will increase your chances to receive grants. We'll build you a responsive platform for 501c organizations, healthcare agencies, and other types of organizations. We'll provide you with full website maintenance, membership sign-in, private charts, Facebook and WhatsApp integration, live video feed for all your meetings and special occasions, a dashboard for members to see all the activities, and email and text auto reminders for meetings. We'll build with donors and 501cs in mind, and will help you solicit grants and automatic membership due collections. Building you this amazing platform will only be a membership fee of $19 a month. Call or email us now. Let's upgrade your website. Home health agencies and small businesses, you owe it to your company to project the best image possible, and we can make it happen. Visit www.tiamit.com or call 215-966-8679. Ask for Tommy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching another episode of the Hard Zone, and you're here with us on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We would like to thank you for staying with us this far on the show. And let me have my panelists back on the screen so we can get right into the icebreaker round of the Hard Zone. And this week we have a very, very interesting question for the icebreaker round. So let me just pull up this question real quick. And if you're watching us, you know what to do. Go in the comment section, and you can give us your response to the icebreaker question. Now, guys, the question for the icebreaker round is: if you could ask the president of the Republic of Liberia. Two questions about anything. What would it be? If you go ask President Weah two questions about anything, what would it be? I would like to start with you, Reverend Addy. If you could ask President George Manning Weah two questions about anything, what would it be? And let me have my own there and why.
Well, the first question would be is um, when is he going to fight corruption? The unaccounted $25 million. Does he have any intentions to bring McGill and the rest of the individuals accused of corruption to justice? Why hasn't he done that yet? Question on corruption. Secondly, I really like to know why education has a very low budget in his government. Why hasn't he invested in education? What's his plan for education? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bobby Mitchell Crawford, you're next. If you could ask the president of Liberia two questions about anything, what would it be?
Number one would be, why is it that whenever we have a national crisis, something that warrant um, the president, for that matter, making a statement or saying something so that it can to quiet down the noise a little bit. What he does instead, he has a tape recorder speech that they play on radio. Why is it wrong? I want to ask him, why can't you go in front of your people that elected you and talk to them as a human being? Are you too good for them? You have to tape record a speech and then they play on the air for them to listen to you. Why he's doing this in the first? Why? And the second thing, when George Weah elected, he said that Liberians will not be spectator in the economy, right? That's what he said at the soccer pitch. But today at the Freeport, businesses or business people are having Liberian business people are having a hard time releasing their containers. Why is he putting all of the impediments in their way? Why is he not, engaging with the Commerce Ministry to make sure that tariffs are not placed on Liberian business goods that's coming in the country? Why? If tariff is being placed, while the exception is being made to Lebanese nations, and Liberians are paying double, why? Why are you're not creating that gracious condition under which Liberian businesses can thrive, but instead you are creating impediments? Why? You are the same person that said Liberians will not be spectators in the economy, but you are giving preferences to foreigners. Why? All the contracts that have been awarded are awarded to foreigners. And you see the China Code embargo, fiasco that is going on in different contracts. Why? Why are you doing that to the Liberian people? Those are the two questions I want to ask the president.
Bobby Mitchell Crawford, you owe this network some money because the icebreaker question said two questions, and from my count, I counted almost 7 whys.
Oh.
Or we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that after the break, so you can pay the network. I'm just kidding. But
ANC, man. Money pie here.
Money in the problem. Let's go. Let's come to you.
Money not a problem.
Okay. Let's go to you, Sylvester Honorable Wamploo. If you could ask the president 2 questions.
Well, if I have the opportunity to ask the president, my first question would be, why is it that you promise Liberian macadamia farming, from substantial farming to macadamia farming, in 5 years? Why is it that up to 9, the agriculture sector is down? 2, why is it you promise Liberians within 5 years you will connect all capital cities to Monrovia? Why is it Grenku and Sano County cannot even be connected? Why?
Thank you very much, Honorable Wamplu. Mr. Ja Winkin Weah, what would you ask the president of Liberia?
Okay. My first question will be, Mr. President, when you took power, you said you were cutting salaries, 10% of your salary. How much is your salary? And that 10%, how much the amount to, and what does it go towards?
Thank you. Thank you
Question
for
number one. Question
that's.
two.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Question two will be that why is it, what is in that any Liberian child should do in Liberia to be successful? What can they fight for to be successful? Where is the option under his administration?
Thank you very much, Honorable Ja Winkin, Mr. Ja Winkin. I'm sorry. The Congolese people don't like to be called honorable, so I can't make that. I try not to make that mistake. But anyways, for my true question to the president, just to give my take on it, I think we need to stop playing around. We need to stop joking. Before I ask my question, I would like to reference when Councilor Gongo came on this show. He made a statement that I will not forget. He said we see students from Liberia, they are not able to communicate well, they can't read and write, and we usually laugh at them. We are mocking the victim. And we should stop mocking the victim and accuse the government. No disrespect to the president, but the president himself is a victim of our leadership not providing quality education. He is a victim. So I think you guys asking him questions on policy issues. Why did he promise us this one? Did not live up to it. The president do not understand those things. Or we like to talk to politics and the president recording audio speech is only because the president cannot do those things. He cannot do it. We know people that know President Weah, his comfort zone, that he really knows how to do, is on the soccer pitch. Outside of that, he can't do none of those things you guys are asking. He does not even understand them. The president went to the executive mansion where his wife, the first lady, hosted and held a program for reading program. Listen to the president's response to those kids. Talking about reading gave him strength. Or to understand letters. The president do not understand those things. My question to the president is simple. You were famous. You have money. Why did you listen to those people that told you to go to Liberia and run for president? That would be my question to him. Why did he listen to them? And of all the trust we put in him, we look at him as a football icon. Why did he let us down? Why did he let us down in the country? That would be my two questions to President Weah. Why did he listen to people that told him to run for president in Liberia? But again, guys, if you're watching us, this is the Hard Zone. And that's what we do here. There's no gimmick, no fluff. And you can leave us your contribution in the comment section. But for now, we will take a very brief break. And thanks to all of you guys on the panel for your contribution in the icebreaker round. And I'd like to take this break. And when we come back, we will move to the next segment of this show.
Hi, my name is Martha Tombe, owner of Matisia Natural Hair Salon, located on 4405 Chestnut Street. We are specializing in locks, natural hair, braids, and etc. Call us for all your natural hair needs. You can reach out at 267-703-2330. If you have pictures or videos you want to send us, you can send it to 267-224-0693.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Horizon. You're still watching us on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. Right now, we would like to transition from the usual Horizon to our newest series on this season, that is Hustling in the Horizon. And we hope it is our hope that you are enjoying this new series because our goal is to focus on people that are actually hustling despite the hard economic condition in Liberia. And for this week on the Horizon, we are featuring a young Liberian woman, dear lady, that runs her own convenient store or grocery stores, and she sells grocery store and she sells a lot of different groceries. So take a look at the video, and we hope that you enjoy it and continue to look forward to more of hustling in the Horizon.
Hello everyone, my name is Geraldine Tapla. Welcome to Mama Geraldine Food Center. We offer varieties of food. We sell barbecue sauce, we sell seasoned sardine, noodles, and baby's food. We are located at Benson and Rabba intersection. We've been into business 1 year now, and you are welcome to stop by if you come to Liberia. You're welcome to stop by. Just come up Benson Street and ask for Mama Geraldine Food Profession Center. And our contacts are 0777 84552. Anytime you're in the country in Liberia, you can just stop by and shopping with us. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still with us here on the High Zone, episode 4 of season 2. And I'd like to say thank you so much for staying with us this far on this episode. And at this point, we'd like to wrap the program up. Before we do that, we would like to bring our panelists back and ask them to give us their closing on everything that we discussed tonight, including the icebreaker round. So, to not waste any further time, let's start with you, Mr. Ja Winkin. Tonight program we talk about the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit. We talk about former Vice President Jose Boakai flying private jet, and then we got into the Liberian People's Party press conference announcing their rally, in which you said you told us that the date haven't been confirmed. So give us your closing remarks on the discussion tonight. Are you with us, Mr. Weah? Okay, let's come to you next. Reverend Addy, give us your closing remark on the discussions tonight.
Well, I think they're very fruitful and they're very informative. It is my hope that as Liberians listen to the Liberian Television Network and these very esteemed panelists, that they'll be able to make informed decisions, not on the basis of emotions, but make a decision that will change their lives for a better future. I thank all of you, and I think it is the right of Liberians to express their disdain for government and possibly alter the government consistent with Articles 1 and 17 of our Constitution. So I thank all of the panelists, and you've been doing a great job, Mr. Moderator, Derek, and keep up the hard work and all of the background crew that have been supportive.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi, and of course, it's a pleasure to always have you here. Let's go to you, Mr. Ja Winkin. Give us your closing remark on the discussions tonight.
All right, my fellow Liberians. I know we have President Weah here in the United States attending a conference. The problem of Liberia hasn't been whether we are friendly with the American government or not, but it has always been our refusal to obey our own laws, our own rules of law. For example, here in the United States, in Florida, let's say a police director was driving her private car. She was pulled over by a traffic police. Then she went and showed a badge. Because of that, she lost her job. In other words, nobody is above the law. So for us in Liberia, our problem is rule of law. We need to respect the rule of law. Whether you are president, whether you are legislature, whoever you are. So the election that is coming, your decision should be based on somebody who is going to uphold the rule of law. Without rule of law, there will always be corruption. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. You're next. Give us your closing remark.
Yeah, thank you, and to everyone, my fellow Liberians, home and abroad. And we are on this platform to discuss the fate of Liberia. And our interest is to make sure we have a country that every one of us will benefit. Today, I'm one of the representative aspirant who is trying to run for office in Liberia. And my interest is to make sure every Liberian have an equal opportunity in the distributions of our national cake. My presence on the show is to be able to speak to what we want to change as Liberians that will benefit our next generation. So we will always encourage you to follow the show because we give our cardinal opinion on the reality of the progress of our country, because every Liberian, home and abroad, want to make sure that we have a country of progress, a country that Liberians will be able to have the opportunity to get job. That even some of our brothers, majority of our brothers and sisters that are living in the diaspora, will have some reliefs on them to be able to focus on their own development. Because if Liberia is not better and everyone don't have a job yet, that's the reason why many of you living abroad have too much responsibility, too much request. But if we have a country where every Liberian can have even make 300 United States dollars per month, it tells you that nobody would be really wishing to be able to take their phone to call somebody in America for $50, $100, $75. So when people are in power, it reduces burnings on other family members. So we want a country that will have a stable economy. We want a country that our people will have jobs, children will go to school. So we need to work together. If this government, George Weah government, the CDC government, is not doing something in our interest, and every Liberian have given President Weah the opportunity to serve for 6 years, to be able to make a change in the lives of the ordinary Liberian. And our people here today, they are suffering, and many people are turning to beggars. People, a responsible family person, have turned to beggars under this government. We need to make a change, and we need to make a progress. And I also here to say, I ask for your support. Support me that I will make a change in the national legislatures in 2023. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you, Honorable Sylvester Wamplu. It's a pleasure to have you here, and of course, wish you well in your endeavors. Let me come to you, Mr. the Lord Mayor of Bentor, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Give us your closing remark on the discussions tonight.
The capital city of Moserata, the hometown of William Vacader, William Talbot. William Talbot, yes. The discussion, well, thank you so much for having me on the platform. Thank you to my fellow panelists. It's been an engaging conversation. We briefly discussed the U.S. African Leaders Summit, that is meant, it's ongoing right now. It's a 3-day event that is meant to strengthen the partnership that America has with African countries enough to advance their shared interests. And I'm hoping that Liberia can, glean from the experiences of all those countries that America has highlighted, like Egypt, Ghana, and all those different countries that America has sidelined and talk, trying to highlight at the conference to say, look at these people. They could be like a model citizen or model country. So I'm hoping that Liberia can learn from that and see how they can factor in good governance. And that is the reason why we're having the June 17 rally to begin with in the first place. And one of the participants, or one of the groups that will be participating in that rally, she spoke passionately today at that program that was held at the party headquarters. And when she said something to the effect that the people say they pay us, but I'm here today representing the All Liberian People Party. I am not a partisan of ANC. She's from the Gorbachev, whatever. She said, I won't support Cummings, but I will support the entire campaign. That's the kind of mindset I think Liberians should have towards it rally. Something that we should all come out in our numbers and support it. Like I said earlier, suffering is not mutually exclusive. Most people in our country cannot afford their basic necessity. And so we shouldn't politicize this. We should send a clarion call to the government that we tire suffering and they have to listen to us. Thank you, and thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, Bobby Michelle Crawford, and to each and every one of you guys. I'd like to say thank you again for your contribution on yet another episode. And those of you watching us, I would like to say thank you so much for continuing to support us, and we and I trust that you will continue to do so. But for now, we would like to draw the curtain on this episode and on this segment of the Horizon. Again, we are committed to bringing you one of the best discussions in the history of talk shows. But until then, I would like to draw the curtain on this discussion. My name is Derek Alley, and you're watching us on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. Let's transition into our announcement segment for this show before we draw the curtain on episode 4 of the Horizon. This week we have more an announcement that is more of a reminder. Last week we announced the multicultural community service, the invitation to a free calabash every first and third Tuesday. I'd like to remind you that this is still ongoing, and you can stop by at 7016 Terminal Square, Upper Darby, PA. They have a lot of good stuff, a lot of African food. They're sitting there and it's free, so you can take advantage of that. If you didn't get the address, it's 7016 Terminal Square, Upper Darby, PA, 19082, room 26A. You don't need any special requirement to qualify. Anything is free food, free African food there. So I can't stress this enough. Food that you will pay a lot of money for is actually there for free, so you can take advantage of that. And also, they have free job readiness services. Enrollment is ongoing. On the Pennsylvania Career Link, and there are a lot of services that they offer, including customer service certification, home care worker certification, financial literacy, job placement, paid internship, resume writing, job search, and interviewing skills. Also, and they provide free transportation. So if you know someone that will be able to benefit from this program, or if you yourself will be able to benefit from this program, hurry and go to the address that was announced previously and try to benefit from this program, the Calabash, and also these great services that are being offered. So that's what we have for you as a reminder and announcement on the Horizon tonight, and we will draw the curtain to this episode on this.